Shalom. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ha Rekah Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing this truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And I'm going to go in on Revelation 11 today through the Spirit. Just let me get this little background music going, Salakia. But I'm going to start at the top, verse 1. Revelation 11 and 1. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of Yahweh, and the altar, and them that worship therein. Alright, so this is right after John the Revelator took the book out the angel's hand, and he ate the book, and it was sweet in his mouth, bitter in his stomach. Alright. Verse 2, But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread under foot 42 months. Alright, and that's because we were Gentiles before we came into this knowledge and came into this truth. When we started repenting and trying to observe the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, coming in this truth, we became the sons of the princes of Yahweh, that's what Israel means, Yasharallah, princes of Israel. All right. So verse 3, and I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,203 days clothed in sackcloth. Okay, and that's what we're doing right now. All right, his 2 witnesses is dealing with the northern and southern kingdom, right? Because let's get that real quick. Let's see. Let's go to Ezekiel, and I'm gonna go to Ezekiel 37. Talking about the 2 sticks. Alright, here we go. Alright, so this is a precept for those 2 witnesses that John saw in the vision. He saw the prophets. He saw us out there teaching. He prophesied. He literally saw us teaching. In the vision. Ezekiel 37 and 16. Moreover, thou son of man, take thee 1 stick, and write upon it for Judah, and for the children of Israel his companions. Alright? So Judah, that's that 1 stick, that's the southern kingdom. Then take up another stick, and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel his companions. So that's the northern kingdom. The Ephraimites, which are the so-called Puerto Ricans, are the head tribe of the Hispanic, Latin, Native American tribes, okay? But these are the 2 sticks coming together, right? And then this is the prophecy of the, that's why we have the 12 tribes chart up in the, when we're prophesying, we have the chart, the 12 tribes chart out on the camp. It says, and join them one to another into 1 stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. So that's what happened. That's the 12 tribe chart. They're both on the same sign now. When we hold it you can hold it up. Literally with 1 hand, you hold up that 12 tribes chart, And that's verse 17 right there. Verse 18, and when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, thus saith Yahweh the power, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel his fellows, and I will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in thine hand. Alright? And let's keep reading. Verse 20, and the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes. See, so that's the sticks, man, the coming together on that 12 tribes chart. Ephraim and Judah, right? Northern and southern kingdom. We're one in the hand. The tribes are one in thine hand with the chart that we have at the camps. And then let me see. What does this say? Let me focus on verse 18. It says, and when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? So that's what it is. Then the people, the ones who actually stop and hearken, right, and take heed, they'll stop and they'll be like, what is this? What do you mean by this? Oh, I'm an Issacharite. You have a so-called Mexican realize he's an Issacharite. If he's part of the elect, he'll realize he's not Mexican. He'll realize he's from the tribe of Issachar. All right. Same thing with the other tribes. You have a Cuban walk up on the camps, and you be like, hey, you're the tribe of Manasseh. And he realizes I'm not Cuban. I'm from the tribe of Manasseh. That's repentance. That's the beginning. And then the fear is actually the beginning. Fearing Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. He's to be feared, all right? But that's what it is. What do thou mean by this? That's what they ask when they see the chart. All right, let's see here. Revelation 11. And let's see. Let me go back to 3. Right? It's talking about us out there teaching the men from the tribes of northern and southern kingdom, all right? So-called black tribes, and then you got the so-called Latino, Hispanic, Native American tribes, all right? So it says in verse 3, I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy. That's what it is. 1,203 score days clothed in sackcloth, all right? And that's the sackcloth is the humble garments that we wear, all right? You see somebody all flashy on the side of the street teaching the scriptures, and they remind you of an Earth, Wind, and Fire band member, then that's not sackcloth. Okay. Verse 4. Let's see. Where are we at? These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before Yahweh of the earth. Okay. The power of the earth. See, that's what we do. We're out there standing before Yahweh, presenting ourselves to Yahweh. All right? But you have to know that when we present ourselves, the Satan's going to present himself, Job 1. Let's start at 1. Let's see. Here it is right here. Job 1 and 6. Now there was a day when the sons of Yahweh, the power, came to present themselves before Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and Satan came also among them. See? So whenever we present ourselves, that's why you have to have the scoffers and the mockers, and the people that try to, the ones that hate this truth so bad. They hate us because we're telling them the truth. Like this says, now there was a day when the sons of Yahweh came to present themselves before Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and Satan came also among them. So that's why those people come out, because they have to be there too. They have to be there to contest what the truth is. Because the truth is not the truth without the scoffers. That's prophecy. You have to have scoffers, That's in Peter. Talks about the scoffers and the mockers. Let's see here. Verse, let me see where we at. Revelation 11. Let's see where we at. All right, let's see. Verse 5. right? And then, let's see. And it says, and if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth, and devoureth them, devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must be this manner be in this manner be killed. See? So if Esau, if he tried, because the death of the saints is precious to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai. That's what the scriptures tell you. So, but when Esau kills any of us, you know, he's gonna be killed in that same like. You know. You know, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. That's Esau Edom. He's gonna die by the sword. Verse 6, talking about the two witnesses, the northern and southern kingdom. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters of turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. See, so we literally, as we're prophesying, and you know, coming into Jacob's trouble, our spiritual power is going to get greater, you know, because our faith has to grow, you know. So once we really get afflicted here in Babylon, we're gonna that spiritual power is gonna come out, man. But you gotta have the faith. If you're the elect, you're gonna have. If you're the 144K, part of the prophets, you're gonna have the faith. And I pray that I'm in that number. Lord's will, I'm in that number, you know. Where we at? Let's see. So verse 6, I mean, think about that power we're going to have. We're going to be able to shut heaven down that it rain not. We'll be able to hold back the rains by our faith and our spiritual power. That's crazy, man. Let me get a precept just real quick. Luke 4:25 says, but I tell you of a truth, many widows were in Israel in the days of Elias, when the heaven was shut up 3 years and 6 months, when great famine was throughout all the land. All right. So there it is. The heaven was shut, you know. Elijah the prophet did that, you know. And he's telling you there were widows that you know, there was these women without husbands, and they didn't how would they feed? They couldn't feed their families. You see? That's what's coming here: widowhood and famine. You know, that's Isaiah 66, somewhere down the line there. Let's see. Well, this is not the one I was looking for, but I'll use this one. It says Isaiah 66:16. Let's see. I'll bring that out real quick because it works. For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh Bashem Yashai plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh Bashem Yashai shall be many. So you have, you know, the fire is going to be the nuclear missiles. The sword are going to be those chariots. See? And the slain of the Lord shall be many. This is talking about the chariots right in verse 15. So let me read it. Verse 15. For behold, Yahweh will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, and render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. That's World War III, and the chariots are going to be on the scene destroying this place as well. All right? So that's why there's going to be widows and not being able to feed their family, because many of the men are going to die by the sword, and you know, the mighty men die by the sword, by war. By war, and the men who are in America are going to die by the sword, because there's going to be nuclear missiles being shot at America. Okay. And nuclear war is getting closer, all right? It's not like the Ukraine thing with Russia and United States. That's just a like the brothers we were all talking about at camp. It's like the pre-fight press conference, where they're both kind of just talking shit, you know, saying getting ready for the getting ready for the match, talking shit, The match is coming. World War III is coming, but see, they're saying those words, Like I literally today I saw a video with Vladimir Putin saying that he sees um, a great chance of nuclear war, World War III, if Ukraine becomes part of NATO. All right, because that's having the enemy right in your backyard. That's what Babylon America is trying to do. And it's all political theater, but nonetheless, it's getting closer because these elites, they know that America is falling, and this is their plan to destroy America and go to their bunkers. You see, so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm part of that. Northern Kingdom, and I'm out here prophesying today on this video. That's what the prophets do. We're telling you the things that are going to happen before they happen, and it's through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua that we're able to do it. And Lord's will, the spirit works with you. If it's working with you, you can break down these scriptures, okay? And you just don't speak on what you can't break down. It's better not to lead the flock astray than to break down the parables incorrectly, and you can't do that. You gotta teach this doctrine correctly. So we're in a Revelation, going back to, let me see, it's like, Revelation 11, and I'm at where am I at? Verse 7. All right. We're able, like it tells you in 6, at the end of it, it says, and we can smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. So we can throw curses, We can throw curses on these fucking people, man. Throw those prayers up, throw a curse, Fuck these 2/3. Fuck these heathen, Throw your curses up, man. You have to have faith to believe that. Verse 7. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. All right? That's that beast system. That's, the Edomite beast system. Esau, the so-called white man. He's going to make war against them. He already making war against us spiritually, and then especially how he takes down our videos, because he doesn't want he doesn't want to be exposed. But that's what the prophets do. They're here to expose the devil. We're here to expose who the so-called white man is. He's the devil according to the Bible. I'm talking about his elite is the ones who rule the earth. So when you have the devil ruling the earth, that's why you have chaos and all the way this place is right now, right? Verse, what is it, 7? No, verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, also where our Lord was crucified. And Yahushua was crucified here in Babylon, America, because they crossed him out. When they brought the Renaissance movement came to the America, to North America and South America, but when the Renaissance movement came to America, they crossed out Yahushua and they gave you Jesus Christ, right? That's where the deception was for this last captivity. That's where it started, for this captivity, which is a Babylon American captivity that we're currently in. So let me keep reading, because there's going to be some of the prophets are going to be lying dead in the great city, right? Which is Babylon America, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Sodom and Egypt, right? Everywhere you go, there's Egyptian symbolism in this place. All the cities, man, they have I mean, you just got to be spiritually have your eyes open to see it. It's easy for the ones who have the spiritual eye to see. We see the pyramids, we see the obelisks, all the they pay homage to the ancient Egyptian pagan gods and whatnot. With their obelisks, with their pyramids, all the things that America is about. Spiritually, Egypt and Sodom, right? Sodom, they embrace sodomy. These motherfuckers are all over. You got sodomites all over Babylon, America. It's crazy. Shit. Crazy. That's crazy. All right, so verse, let's see. Salakia, one of the brothers just called. So am I right in the middle of a lesson, brother? So here we go, verse 9. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. Right? Because these people, these heathen, they're not going to have, if a prophet dies, one of the 144K dies, they're not going to take, you're not going to have a proper burial. You know what I'm saying? The world hates the prophets. And in this day, it's going to be bad because there's not going to be, because not only are the prophets going to be dying preciously, the scriptures tell you, meaning rarely, but it's going to happen. But you're going to have all the death from these heathen and 2/3, which is going to be, it's going to be a high magnitude of deaths where they won't be able to keep up with, burying the bodies. All right. But yeah, the prophets, that would be the last body they would bury. They see a prophet. Because you got to remember, the Babylonians, the Americans, they don't like the prophets. All right, they don't like the two witnesses, the northern and southern kingdom, coming up and revealing the truth. All right, it's not in their best interest. You see, why would they like us? Verse 10. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. You see, we torment them with our words, reading the Bible, breaking it down. Their minds become tormented because they start realizing that if you're a heathen, you're like, fuck, I got nothing, I got no chance. If you're an Israelite, hey, if you're that part of that 1/3, you got repentance. But the 2/3, they ain't gonna, they're bugged out. So that, the 2/3 are the most bugged out probably, because that's stupid to know you could have had a chance and you didn't even go for it. You know what I'm saying? But then again, hey, it's always the Yahweh puts that spirit on those 2/3 to be who they are. So that's why they don't like us. I just kept saying, going on a rant about how come they don't like the prophets. It tells you at the end of this, because verse 10, because these two prophets, the northern and southern kingdom, tormented them that dwell on the earth. Right? They don't like to hear the words we speak. They don't like to find out that Piper isn't going to be in the kingdom on the same level as them, and Piper and Andy, or whatever you want. These Edomites, they got their names, but when these 2/3 find out, hey, that their Edomite buddies they're not going to be on the same level as them, they get all mad. They get tormented. The women get tormented because the multiple wives in the kingdom is something that, a Babylonian woman who's raised in Babylon, that's hard for her to fathom. So that torments the woman. The Edomites, they're the most tormented by this truth because they start to see it. They're like, they get taught the truth, then they go home and read their Bibles, and they're like, oh shit, this right, I'm not, this ain't for me, I'm an Edomite. So that torments them, and that's why they hate the prophets, because our words are tormenting, because it's really Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's words that's tormenting them, not, we're just the mouth, right? So let's see. Verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. All right, so that's us standing on our feet, right? Because there was a falling away first. First we fell, then we stood back on our feet. All right, so now that we're standing on our feet, meaning we had the breath of life in us, right? The spirit of life came into us from Yahweh. That's the understanding of the Bible. Now that brings us life, because we're like, okay, now we're living. When you have salvation, when you see the chariots, when you see just different spiritual things happening in front of you, you can see it, and that spirit is on us, man. We have that spirit. Look at us, we're diligent. We go out every week, in season, out of season. That's that spirit that we need, You're on fire. You want to do a video because why? Because not only do you want to feed the flock, but you want to see what's going to be revealed to you, or just maybe it's something you had to go over again. You remember the verse. You're like, oh yeah, I remember that was one of my favorite ones, and it comes back, and you just got to constantly work with this living water. You see, and that's what that spirit jumps on us, man. And like the brother said at camp, it jumps from man to man to man. When you're at the camps, that spirit will just jump on one man, then jump on another man. You know what I mean? You see when a brother's on fire when he's preaching, All right, verse 12. And they heard, so they feared also the fear. They get fear when they see you got so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans coming together, holding Bibles in their hands, and teaching the way we teach. Because why? Because it's the truth. So that people can't, there's no way around it. There's no way around it. We are the men. What is it? Romans 10 and 7, maybe? No, let's see. Romans 10, 7. Nope, that ain't it. Let me look it up. Let's see. Let's see. Romans 8:16. That's what I wanted. Romans 8:16, it says, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the sons of Yahweh. All right? So that's what it is. Only the sons of Yahweh are going to have the Spirit to go out and prophesy on the street corners in Babylon, America, and torment the heathen. Our words torment the heathen in the 2/3. Remember, the world doesn't like us, man. It tells you that in John. The world don't like the true prophets. Where we at? Let's see. Revelation, go back there. Revelation 11, and I'm at verse 12. And they had heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. See, so you're going to hear that in Hebrew when before you go up in a chariot, when the nuclear missiles are popping off. If you're part of this elect, if you're part of the men who are these two witnesses tormenting the earth with our words, we're reading about our salvation now, right? And let me read it. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. All right? So we're going to go up in this cloud. Because why? Because of our prophesying. Because of our testimony. Because of our faith in Yahweh Shai. You see? Watch. It says, and they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. Let me just get that real quick. Psalm 104:3. Who layeth the beams of his chambers, and in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot. All right? The cloud are the chariots. So that's that cloud when we go back to Revelation 11. Where's it at? Let me see. Revelation 11 and where am I at? 12. And they heard, let me read it again. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, in the chariot. And their enemies beheld them. That beheld means observed. So the enemies are going to observe us going up in those chariots. Okay? And it's going to be strange to them. Because it tells you that in Wisdom of Solomon. When they see it, watch, let's get it. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors, right? Because they don't care about the work we do. If you're not part of the elect, they don't give a shit about this truth we're pushing, you know? They make no account of our labors, man. So verse 2, when they see it, this is talking about us going up in the chariot. It says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with fear, terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for, right? Because when we go up in them chariots, they're going to be like, what the hell is, what the fuck? You got them niggers and spicks going up, and I'm getting here burnt by nuclear fire. I'm here melting, my skin's melting on my bones, you know? Because we're going to go up in a chariot, right? And I'll bring out another verse here in a second. Let me get it now before. But let me read that again. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for. All right, they're not expecting black, so-called black dudes and Mexican dudes and Native Americans going up in a so-called UFO. They're not expecting that. You know, they're not looking for that. You know what I mean? Nobody's looking for that. Let's see, except the elect. You see. Let me see where we at. Revelation 11. Oh yeah, let me grab that other precept I was gonna tell you, because we're gonna go up in them chariots, right? Like I've been reading in these other verses, Revelation and Wisdom of Solomon. So now we'll go to Isaiah. Let me find it real quick. Isaiah. That's 20. No, it's 26. 20. This is us going into them chariots as well. Watch. Isaiah 26:20. Come, my people, enter into thy chambers. Enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as if it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. See, so we're gonna go up, get those new bodies, right as we go up in the chariot. Right before we enter the chariot, our body will be changed in a twinkling of an eye. It tells you, right? Let's get that real quick. Corinthians 15. I don't remember exactly where it's at. I'm pretty sure it's in 15. But it tells you how our bodies are going to get changed as we go up in those chariots. Okay? Let's see. I could bring some of this other stuff out, but... Oh, here we go. This is 1 Corinthians 15 and 52. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, which are the missiles, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. All right, so in the twinkling of an eye, as we go up in that chariot, our bodies are going to go from terrestrial to celestial, okay? Which is an earthly body to a heavenly body, okay? And then also I wanted to point out in that last verse I read, because it said, enter thou into thy chambers, meaning go up in the chariot. It was Isaiah 26:20, right? Let's read it again. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as if it were a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. That indignation is that destruction, which is the presence of it is Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai that's his indignation, the missiles. He's in those missiles. His spirit is in those missiles. Because you got to remember, fire is the spirit of vengeance, right? see. Tells you that in the Apocrypha. Fire is a spirit of vengeance, one of the spirits of vengeance. So we're going to go to a Revelation. And this is the end of it, so I'm going to close out on this verse. This is where I'm going to stop. It says, in the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part. So right after we go up in them chariots, those missiles are going to really be popping, causing the earth to quake. And 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, which that 7,000 means complete. All right. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to Yahweh of heaven. All right. And the remnant that's the elect. Okay. Verse, there it is. Verse 14, I'll read this because it's dealing with nuclear war, right? And you have tensions, right? Remember, it's the pre-fight conference. That's the stage we're in for World War III. All right. Revelation 11:14, it says, the second woe is past, meaning the second World War II is past. It says, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right. So there it is. Once the two witnesses, which is the northern and southern kingdom, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American coming together in the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. You know, once that happens, because this is the vision John saw. He saw the northern and southern kingdom coming together, and he saw us with powers, with spiritual power, right? We were putting out plagues. We're gonna be able to shut down the rain, you know. You're gonna have us going up into the chariots until the indignation passes. All right. Then you're gonna have that nuclear war, man. We're gonna go up for that while that nuclear war is happening. We're gonna be in the chariot. And the remnant, whoever's still alive, they're going to be, glory. They're going to know they're part of that elect if you're still alive after that World War III, nuclear fire. That's how you know you're part of the elect. When you go up in the chariot and you see the brothers in there, that's when you know you're the elect. You can stop calling yourself the hopeful elect, you know. So that's what it is, brothers. We're working for this. And with that, I want to give all praise, the northern and southern kingdom. Hey, we're working on this. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai Bahashem, Harakakadash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles, Great Millstone, for teaching me this truth. I also want to acknowledge all the Akiam who are pushed in this truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect.